I've been growing an online community dedicated to learning, curiosity, and self-improvement for the last 6 months or so. And I'm still doing it, and I'm still learning. And I want to share a couple of takeaways on how I'm doing that and what I'm picking up through that process so far. Now, Humble Mind is a learning and perspective sharing community for curious, like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, founders, small business owners, digital professionals. And I really wanted to start out by making it a safe space for no matter who you are, your background, where you come from, age, sex, gender, religion, whatever it is, you're welcome. And your perspective in particular, what you think, your wisdom, the things that you carry from your own life experience is welcome. In fact, it's required. You need to share it, and you need to help others to make sense of their own perspective by sharing yours. Now, I've always found that the most interesting experience comes from the intersection of personal and professional development. And that's the focus that I've had in growing this community. And I wanted to share a couple of things that I'm learning and how I'm doing it and how I'm still getting it right. So the first is the value and importance of interacting and meeting each and every member. This is especially important in the beginning, which I still consider myself to be in. I'm still in the beginning. We're still growing. And the ability to connect with people directly and to meet them and to have FaceTime with them and to see them is so unbelievably important. It also allows them to feel that you're inspired and that you're interested in their development and that you want them along for the ride, right? We don't want a kind of a Facebook group type of approach to this where you're just a faceless blob, right? You're just an audience. It's a community. It's quite different. An audience has this one-to-many type of relationship, whereas a community is about the network effect, the interlacing and interweaving of different perspectives between people. And in order for that to happen, you have to facilitate direct conversations. And that starts with you, the person who's creating the community. It's important for you to know each and every one of your members as much as possible. The second thing I've picked up is that it's constant work. It requires a whole lot of enthusiasm, energy, creativity, especially on some days where you feel like just, staying in bed. And that can be a challenge because, especially in the beginning, like me, I am the engine that drives this community. You need to be there being the model, if you like, for how this community operates and what it thinks about, how it breathes, how it walks, what it does. And that requires you to be on, and that requires you to be working at that, making sure that that is an active beating heart that doesn't stop. Because when it stops, then the community stops. So it's a circulation that requires a lot of work, a lot of content, a lot of interaction, a lot of effort. Another piece is that if you get too operationalized, too cookie cutter, too fixated on establishing a process for things to work repeatably, then you cut out the element of surprise. You make it too normal, too predictable, too standard, which means then that there's just less to come back for. There's less interesting little goodies for people to remain engaged over a longer period of time. So if you try to sequence things too predictably, it becomes boring, right? There's it's almost like Netflix, right? All of the different series and shows that we see, I couldn't be asked to watch all of them because it just looks like the last one that came and the last one that came before that. So surprise and something that feels and looks new is always going to help to re-engage and to refocus, bring everyone back into the room and get their attention again, right? Because we're all distracted. And how do you manage distraction? How do you get somebody out of a distracted state? You bring them back in and you captivate them in some way. And so focusing in the beginning on creating experiences that are meaningful, interesting, fun, exciting is more important than the consistency of them, I would say. Obviously, consistency is important, but it's got to captivate. And sometimes there's a fine line between being able to be consistent and have a rhythm that works and that is healthy versus something that just becomes too process orientated and too predictable too quickly. The last thing I'll share is the real importance of asking your members both for feedback and also for help. Now, asking for feedback makes sense, right? It's about the experience that they're having, and you have a vested interest in making sure that you get what you need from them in order for you to design the program or design the sessions or design the experience around what they want, what they're looking for, a challenge that they want solved, a connection that they are seeking. You want to be able to have them in mind when you're creating that. That makes sense, and that's always a good thing, and it's always a good thing to have very open, very easy to follow channels to facilitate that. At the same time, asking for help as well is an interesting one, and that's something that I've found when I've done it, because I'm not always the kind of person to ask for help, automatically, but when I've done that and when I've kind of put it out there to the community that I'm looking for help with this, or I really don't know what to do next, and I'd like your help, or I'd like to see if you might want to, creatively brainstorm with me on this. I found not only did I get the help, but I got a whole lot more from it. I got a collaborator. I got a sense of working together, a partnership with people who are just as interested in helping me bring that to life. And that's been one of the best things that has come out of this community building experience. And it shouldn't really, when you think about it, be a surprise, right? Because that's what a community is. They help each other and they go to each other's need. So you as a community builder, if you're leading a community, if you're trying to create one, get something off the ground, you being able to show that you're open to getting help, to receiving it, and to, be asking the right questions is one of the healthiest and best things that you can do, because everyone feels like they can own it, like they can be part of this experience. It's not just an audience, it's a community. So asking them for help, asking them for their input is very often one of the best and most surprising, positively surprising things that you can do. So that's what I've learned so far. There's a whole lot more, but I'm still doing it. I suppose that's what they call building in public, right?